Hey, hey, hey. So, in the background here, I got the soundtrack from the documentary 13th. It's Last Words by Nas, Nashwan, Nashawn, and, sorry, Millennium Thug. Oh, Jesus. From the album, Nostradamus. And, yeah, I'll be talking about the documentary 13th. This is a great documentary, one of my favorite ones. When it comes to, like, just info. I mean, this movie has so much. I mean, yeah, when I say movie, it's a documentary, but yeah, this film has so much info, like from beginning to end. And I'm just gonna name a few off the top of my head. Like for example, the U.S. has 5% of the world's population, but the U.S. has 25% of the world's incarcerated population, and most of them are black people. So the premise of this film, yeah, it's called 13th because of the 13th Amendment. So basically, after the Civil War in the U.S., a lot of black people were freed, but they didn't have a place to sort of mingle in like this and what the white people back then would call civil society, I guess. Um, so they became, of course, marginalized. A lot of black people were like mocked, hung, killed, raped, outcasts, and it was ugly. Um, so, but and then the documentary all ends to the modern day. So the whole point of the documentary is that history kind of repeats itself. Even though the Civil War ended, which eliminated slavery, like I guess on the most surface, vague legal level, I mean to trickle down to actual people, affect actual people. I mean, like even like decades after, like with the Jim Crow laws and the I'm guessing the '60s. See, I still don't know much about history. In the '70s with the drug war, which was obviously just to target black people because white people were doing drugs too, but of course the law enforcement wouldn't really do that. And then also talked about Martin Luther King Jr., which I was taught in school that he was kind of like a peaceful guy, like for the most part. I mean, when I say peaceful, I mean like he wasn't very radical, but he actually was very radical, and I wasn't really taught that in school. Um, which is interesting actually. And during the '90s, like Bill Clinton, a politician who was a Democrat, supposed to be more favorable towards marginalized groups in the U.S. at the time, did tend to the fears of a lot of his voters, which was black people are doing crimes, and out of pressure, he kind of felt the need to do it, and he regretted laws that were passed under him because of the obvious effects. I mean, like yeah, getting in prison, for life for just using drugs, like you get caught doing drugs and you go to prison for life. I mean that's your whole life. And history repeating itself. In what I mean by the theme of this documentary is that people of color and black people, like they're always going to be, not always. I don't want to be that pessimistic, but throughout history in the U.S., even today, they've been abused in different ways. Like once, for example, like one sort of like right as a human or a citizen of the U.S. is like attained, then the next one. But of course, yeah, I want to stay on topic with 13th, which does focus on the how the nation's prisons are disproportionately filled with African Americans, and the documentary does explore how like the police, government officials, even the legal systems, they they really do have a bias against black and colored people, and this, of course, like perpetuating this narrative, which has been like a narrative in the U.S. since the dawn of the country. Like white people adopt that mentality, and of course, black people do. I mean, like it's like you're being told like your whole life, and that even that you're not as good as other people because of your skin color, and even your ancestors are not as like are also not as good as other people because of your skin color. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of intergenerational trauma, explored in this. But mainly, yeah, the documentary does explore the prison industrial complex, which means like a lot of prisons in the U.S. are built just to make a profit. Like the people who run these just make a profit, and the easiest people to fill them up with are black and brown people because as a society, as a country, since like we forced black people here from Africa to work as Slaves. Like, I mean, they've always black people have always been the easiest people to manipulate, to dehumanize. Oh, there's a quote here where like the opposite of criminalization is humanization, and I think I said this already. Yeah, but like there's I've noticed there's no focus in the prison system in the U.S. towards rehabilitation. It's just punishment, criminalizing, and that doesn't really help anyone. And the treatment towards black and brown people, like it's just not really getting any better because even though on the surface, yeah, we have all this technology, it's easier to get connected, but like, I mean, there, if you just like look at sort of just like stats and numbers when it comes to um and even videos too. This documentary also makes a point. One big difference when it comes to racial injustice and exposing it is social media. Yeah, like recording stuff, cameras. I mean, because it's harder for powerful people to continue the narrative of that black people are bad overall compared to white people. If they're shown a video of like white police unnecessarily like killing black people, so social media does help in some ways, a lot of ways actually. Yeah, having people who ignorant people who are used to like being racist like confront it and explain it and defend their positions, which are hopefully like I mean, realistically just like undefendable. If undefendable is a word, indefensible. I'm sorry. So that's all rambling about the 13th. I definitely recommend it, especially if you want to learn about racial history, because yeah, this is an hour and a half documentary, and it has a lot of info, but it's also well made. A lot of like popular faces you might be familiar with who are interviewed, and a lot of like what do you call it, like footage from the past, and there are like subtitles, not just like for the narrator of this documentary, but like there are a lot of words on the screen, like just to like sort of summarize like different aspects of parts of the documentary. Good music, I would say, I guess, yeah. But it's really emotional. Yeah, it's an emotional documentary. I mean, this is probably like when it comes to domestic issues in the U.S. I think the racial injustice is the um the biggest issue this country has because um it's so ingrained in our history and it's so ingrained in this country's political systems and institutions, even still today. And I don't think it's really that hard to, to sort of like investigate it if you're really interested. I mean, there's Google and you can just like look up, I don't know, like Black Lives Matter and you know, yeah. So yeah, not a very well thought out presentation on this documentary, but it's really good. I do recommend it. I don't know if it has a rating. Yeah, it's a documentary. I don't think it really does. So that's the 13th. All right. So in the background here, I got Letter to the Face. Oh, Letter to the Free. Sorry, by Common and Bilal. Before that was Last Words by Nas, Nashon, and Millennium Doug. So please take it easy, guys. Take care. Peace.